My sister didn't just spill red wine on me. She stared straight into my eyes as the glass emptied down my white silk dress and told security that the help wasn't allowed to cry in front of guests. As the cold wine soaked into my skin, I felt something inside me finally crack. Then I saw it through the blur of rain and humiliation, my husband's black SUV turning into the valet drive. In that moment, I knew my family's carefully built world had about 1 minute left. My name is Maya Vance. All my life, I've been the invisible daughter, the one who learned early how to take up as little space as possible. My parents saved their pride and affection for my older sister, Chloe, the one they called brilliant, flawless, destined for greatness. I became the quiet one. I went into research, spending my days in soil labs and greenhouses, trying to solve food shortages and sustainability problems no one at dinner parties wanted to talk about.
To me, it mattered.
To my parents, it was an embarrassment they preferred not to explain. Chloe, meanwhile, lived in the spotlight. She married Julian, a high-ranking executive at Agro Global, a massive food conglomerate. He wore watches worth more than my education and drove cars my parents bragged about like they were their own achievements. They treated him like royalty. Then there was my husband, Caleb. I met him at a seed convention in Iowa. He wore worn boots and flannel and spoke about regenerative farming with quiet intensity. He listened when I spoke. He respected the work. My family never did. When I brought him home, my mother didn't offer him a seat. She asked if he'd clean manure off his shoes. For 3 years, they never visited us. They imagined dirt floors and poverty. What they didn't know was that Caleb owned Crestwood Industries, land, patents, supply chains. The very systems Agro Global depended on. He was worth 9 figures, and he never once felt the need to prove it. When the invitation to Chloe and Julian's wedding arrived, it was wrapped in luxury and quiet cruelty. A black-tie cliffside event, 6 figures of excess. My invitation came with a note from my mother reminding me to make sure Caleb didn't smell like the outdoors. Important people would be there. A month before the wedding, my father called, frantic and desperate. The venue threatened to cancel. They were short $25,000. He didn't ask how I was. He asked if I could help. I knew Julian's bonus wasn't coming. I knew there was an audit happening at Agro Global. Still, I sent the money anonymously through one of our philanthropic shells and told the venue to call it a vendor credit. The next day, Chloe posted online about how the universe rewarded her aesthetic with a $25,000 blessing. Caleb saw it and told me I deserved better. I told him I just wanted one peaceful day. I was wrong. The wedding day arrived with a storm rolling in. Caleb was delayed by an urgent call, so I entered alone, wearing a simple cream silk gown. My mother met me at the door and told me the ballroom was over capacity. Julian's CEO had arrived. She pointed me outside to a leaking tent near the kitchen. Plastic chairs.
Then, mud.
My father told me to be reasonable and wait there until the toasts were done. They promised leftovers. I stood there for an hour as servers brushed past me and rain soaked my dress. Chloe finally came out, radiant and cruel. She mocked my clothes, my life, my husband. Then she staged a stumble and flung her wine across my body. She smiled and told security to remove me. My parents watched and turned away. I was walking toward the gravel path, shaking and silent, when Caleb arrived. He took one look at me, and his expression hardened into something dangerous. He didn't ask questions. He took my hand and walked straight inside. The ballroom fell silent as we entered. Julian was mid-toast, talking about success and status. My mother begged Caleb not to ruin the night. Then the CEO of Agro Global stepped forward, shocked to see him. He'd been trying to reach Caleb for weeks. Caleb spoke calmly, every word cutting deeper than shouting ever could. He explained how my family treated me, how they saw him, how they thought we belonged in the rain. Julian tried to interrupt, sweating and panicked. That was when I spoke. I told them the truth about the $25,000, about the research Julian took credit for. The CEO turned on Julian. Caleb revealed the audit, the embezzlement, The stolen funds used to pay for the wedding. Chloe screamed. Caleb handed over the report and announced he was pulling out of the merger. Julian was fired on the spot. My father tried to stop us, calling Caleb family. Caleb brushed his hand away and said family doesn't leave their daughter in the mud. We walked out together. Behind us, the payments were voided, the lights went out, and the wedding collapsed into darkness. 2 days later, my mother came to our home, the real one. Glass walls, private lake. She didn't apologize. She demanded money, threatening the press. I felt nothing as I told her to go ahead. The security footage from the terrace had already captured everything. If she spoke, the world would see exactly who she was. She left without another word. Chloe and Julian now live in my parents' basement. Julian faces lawsuits. Chloe sells her wedding gifts online to pay legal fees. Caleb and I went back to our work, back to the soil, back to building something honest. Because nothing beautiful grows from lies. I stayed quiet for years, but silence was never weakness. It was patience. And when the moment came, the truth spoke for itself. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, and share it with your friends. Your support helps us bring more powerful real-life stories to you.